Hello and welcome to my first City Skylines Let's Play. So, as you can see, this is not an empty map that we're starting on. I already built some stuff here, and that's because I figured since it's my first time ever posting a City Skylines video on my channel, people are going to want to see, what if I suck or not, pretty much. Before they start watching. And if I just start with a blank map, well, that doesn't really tell you anything. So I got it started a little bit just so you can see the direction that this city is going to go, and if you want to keep watching the series. So basically this map just went on the workshop a few days ago, and it's pretty much what inspired me to start a new city. I ditched my old city, which I don't have video of because I can't open it anymore. I deleted a bunch of assets, but I'll show some pictures of it so you guys can get an idea. But there's a lot of things from that city I want to incorporate into this one that I liked. But yeah, this is a really nice map. I wasn't a fan of the default highway and train layouts, so I ripped a bunch of that out. Probably will rip out the rest of it too and just link up the existing connections. But yeah, for now I guess I'll just talk a little bit about what my plan is, what I have figured out at least for right now, and then we'll go into the time lapse. So yeah, the first thing I built when I opened up this map was this bridge right here, and I really love this asset. Was a huge pain in the ass to get this road in here though, because it always wants to use the height of the ground underneath the water instead of just treating the water like a flat surface when you're placing it. But I purposely didn't put in the other side yet so that I could do that in the time lapse, so you guys can get an idea of my method of how that's actually done. The way I like to build, I don't really focus on one little area and finish that area and then move on to the next. I like to lay everything out in a sort of rough state, try out things, just see what they look like. So it gets a bit messy at times, and I know that's not really the best style for these Let's Play videos because people like to see one section go from beginning to end in a video. So I'm going to try to work on that, maybe focus on actually finishing an area when I start it. But like as you can see here, I just do lots of experimenting. Like none of the stuff is permanent. It's all just here for me to see and get ideas of what I actually want to do. Yes, cool. The ships are going to come under here to this harbor. Unfortunately, I can't place any more harbors back here because the shipping line is like back here somewhere. So anywhere else, it won't have a direct line to the harbor. I wonder if there's a mod to like draw in your own additional harbor modes. Harbor, what do you call them? I don't know. The shipping lanes, that's it. But yeah, the style I'm going for this city is going to be sort of a rustic, rundown look, but still it's going to be a significantly large city. I'm thinking all of this flat area here is going to be pretty urban, and we're going to have rail lines coming out everywhere. These bridges aren't here permanently. They were just for me looking, but I'm thinking maybe have a rail bridge and then a road bridge. We'll have like a bunch of industrial stuff on the shoreline here, and then maybe here will be like a redeveloped area where they kind of took the industrial stuff that was abandoned and sort of redeveloped it into like some cool waterfront area or something. I don't know. I just think that would look really cool right across from the active industrial area. Anyway, moving on to this interchange. I am pretty happy with how this interchange came out. It's not perfect yet. I'm going to probably change some stuff around still, but I tried to build it as low profile as possible. No huge flyovers or anything. And I think it turned out pretty nice. It's time to start actually building some stuff. So I don't have a bunch of the assets that I want to really flesh out this industrial downtown area. So for now, I'm just going to lay out all the infrastructure and roads that I want in this downtown area. And then I guess in the next episode, I'll get a bunch of assets and then actually start to fill it in. Oh yeah, one more thing before I start the time lapse. So this really cool Stonehenge thing was here by default in the map. So I'm thinking I'll incorporate this into a park or something. But anyway, time to lay out some infrastructure. Alright, so the first thing I'm doing here is making sure the land is perfectly flat where I'm going to be building, because when it's not perfectly flat, it can just throw things out of whack and it's really annoying. So yeah, we're leveling out this whole area. I don't want to have it be completely flat, so I'm making sure to have like different leveled areas, except the areas at different heights are going to be like clearly separated, so they're going to be like plateaus. This way there's still some like interest generated by having stuff at different levels, but it's not going to become difficult to build on because I won't be having to build on slopes. I just need to figure out the transitions between the different heights. So yeah, as you can see, the trees were not disappearing as I placed roads over them, and I couldn't figure out why. I think it was because I had prop and tree anarchy on while I was placing the roads, so the collision boxes and the trees were turned off. And here I'm starting on a rail viaduct that is going to carry 4 tracks, so 2 passenger lines through the city. And I guess the idea is that they used to be a... Oh, here I am playing to see if I can get prop line tool to make it a lot easier, but it was leaving gaps and I didn't feel like finding the exact measurements. But yeah, I was going to say the idea is that it should look like old freight lines maybe from when the city was more of like an industrial powerhouse, and now it's been repurposed as a passenger line. But yeah, as you can see, I'm having problems getting these lined up perfectly. I get it lined up perfectly, and then when I go to click, it just moves slightly and leaves this little crack, or like a little crease you see in between the pieces. And I'm trying to cover that with a lamppost here. It's not the biggest deal, it's not super noticeable, but it's just really annoying when you're trying to like make something as realistic as possible. Just little gaps like that and cracks can sort of take you out of the immersion of believing it's a real city. So I built this train station up on a hill so the tracks wouldn't have to go up or down to reach it. I feel like that's pretty realistic to keep the tracks as level as possible, because you don't really see train tracks going up and down a whole lot, and when they do, it's on a very gradual incline. And now I'm trying to place the tracks on top of the viaduct, and it just completely disappeared, and I was like, holy shit, do I have to redo that whole thing? And I put the second track there, this time with collision turned off, and it suddenly all popped back up, and I was like, oh, thank God. But it was a little bit of a tight fit on there. It kind of overhangs. I didn't want it to be. I wish it fit a bit better, but oh well, it still looks pretty good. Now here I'm carving a path for the passenger line to continue on, and it's eventually going to cross the river somewhere farther down, but I'll leave that for another time. Right now I'm just going to build a tunnel to get it underneath the freeway here. Also, let me know what you think of the speed that the time-lapse is going at. If it's like too fast to see what's going on, or if it's too slow that you're getting bored. I put it all the way up to 800%, which seems really fast, but maybe I just build really slow. Now I'm heading over to work on the other highway lane for the big bridge over here, and I want to slow it down coming up in a bit back to real time, because something really weird and possibly that's going to lead to problems in the future happens. Watch the bridge closely. Right there. Right as I click, the bridge sinks like a few feet. I'm guessing it's because it bases its height on the height of the water below it, and that can change just by the nature of like the way the water is in this game. And when I clicked over there, it updated to the new water height. But I'm just hoping in the future, when I change terrain and stuff, the height won't change so much that the bridge just becomes completely off from where the road I placed is. Now, if you're trying to do a bridge like this in your city and you're having trouble figuring out how to do it, later on in the video, I build another bridge like this, and I'll explain what my method is, at least, for doing it. Now I'm building one of the main interchanges that's going to connect the highway to the city. Like, I have that big interchange over there, but that only connects two highways, so there's still no way to actually get into the city. So now I'm going to have this one, and then I'm going to need another one a little on down the line, since there's no way this one exit alone would be able to service all of downtown. So this one's going to be trumpet style. And the next one I'll probably just do as I don't know what the name is for it, but when it's just the ramps that go straight off the highway and there's an intersection on each end. So I'm about ready to build a road across this bridge leading into town, and I thought I'd do it in real time so I could sort of explain the process of how to build in one of these pre-built bridges like this. So the first thing you want to do is just focus on getting your starting and endpoints right. Oh yeah, and also you need what mod is this? Is this network extensions? I believe this is network extensions that does this here. And you're going to turn off, well, you can leave on lighting if you want. And then turn off pillars on both. Really, you only need to do it for elevated, but I just do it for both. What kind of street light do we want? Hang on a sec. I'm going to see what kind of street light I want for this. I really want like some old-fashioned looking one to keep up with like the rustic look that I'm going for. I know there is one somewhere in here. Retro? Yeah, that's what I want right there. Alright. So now the first step is to just focus on getting the starting and endpoints correct. So let's see. This is kind of tricky because it's not really centered right. That looks good. Yeah. Alright. Now don't worry that it's making that bridge. All we're doing here is trying to like establish a straight line that we're going to work off of. Boom. Okay. Now on each end we're going to build a little approach. I like to have it slope gently. I'm going to build an approach over here. And now we're going to delete everything except the approaches. Alright, and now sometimes this next step is pretty easy and other times it can be really tricky. It all depends on what the ground is like underneath where you're trying to build. But basically the idea is you want to build as long a segment as possible without triggering the bridge. So that would be about here. And then you kind of adjust back and forth so it lines up right. And then you just go all the way across. Am I too low? Yeah, the cross beams are starting to show through the road. See that green there? So I gotta go a bit higher than that. I wish a lot of these things were made easier by default in the game, but it's kind of designed more around being a strategy game than it is just being a sandbox game, and the whole sandbox element of just using it as purely a city builder kind of only came about because of the modding community. You know, they gotta make some mechanics easy enough for the average player, but that makes it more difficult when you want to be really precise. Oh, and look at this. This is going to be a problem. There we go. And that is our avenue. And I think I'm going to remove the street light on this one, just so it's not poking through there. None is at the top. I gotta upgrade to something else. Look at that, no street light. That's a neat trick if you didn't know. If you want to update the road using these things, instead of demolishing it, you can just update it to something else and then put it back. You don't have to demolish anything. Alright, now let's get some more roads laid down. So right now I'm setting up for having another set of elevated train tracks, and this time they're going to go directly over the avenue. And this is something that I did in my last city, and I really want to incorporate it into this one as well. And I'm building the station up on a little hill again. This way the tracks don't have to bend up and down to be lined up with it. And yeah, basically how this works is I just put the wide support on the middle track and turn collision detection off, and then I get another track with no supports and put it on each side, and then you have 3 tracks in a row, well 6 tracks actually, and it looks pretty cool. So here I went down and looked at the perspective from underneath the tracks, and it looked like the supports might have been a little low. So I started looking at alternatives for some other supports to use, but that one I was using is the only one that's going to be wide enough to hold all 3 tracks. So yeah, 2 of these lines are going to be used for passenger trains, and one of them is going to be used for freight, and it's going to head off towards the cargo harbor area. Now how am I going to gently slope it but still have room for an entire rail yard? This is going to be tough. Let's see, where can the rail yard actually go? What if it goes this way and then curves right? And the rail yard will be over here. That could work. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Or I can just make this little jetty bigger. Yeah, let's do that. What? Oh, why are we not flat? Come on. I tried so hard to make you flat. Alright. I'll try it again. This time I'm gonna extend the terrain like way past where I plan to build the roads. This way I know for sure that the roads are flat. I'll worry about that side later. And that looks a lot flatter. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. If I make this whole area over here a freight yard, that could look cool, but I want this to be the downtown, and I'm already taking up a lot of space with this park and all the train tracks, and I need some space for buildings left, so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do a full freight yard, maybe a small one. Yeah, there's just no good way to do this, unfortunately. What if I brought a bridge across here? That could be cool. What would that look like? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. You know what? I'll come back to you guys when I figure this out. Okay, so here's what I figured out. I'm going to have it break off about here and come straight towards here, and that line's going to go in here. Then I'm also going to have another line branch off and go down here into a rail yard. And we'll have just some like boxes stacked up, some cranes, and I don't know, maybe I'll even put a crossing here and have it continue over here, and then we'll have like a chain link fence up by the road to keep people out, so we'll have like this secure port area. There may not be room for that, but we'll see, especially since I want some sort of security booth somewhere. Yeah, it might have to end here, but we'll figure something out. Alright, so I think that's about all I'm going to do for this first episode here. I'm not completely satisfied with the way this area is coming along. I'm probably going to redo all of this, but I have the rough idea out now. I want to kind of give some stuff some more breathing room, just give it some more space, because right now it's pretty cramped. Like, even this is going right into the edge, so I'll probably move some things around. And also, I think I made this turn a little bit too tight on the approach up to the bridge. I might make it more of like a swooping curve, kind of like this side. But yeah, other than that, it's coming along pretty well. Next episode, I'll try and get some actual buildings to fill in here. I'm thinking all along this area here will be industrial type buildings and warehouses, and in here, and then maybe back here and around here we'll get some more like office type high rises, but nothing too crazy modern or huge, because I want to keep it with that old rustic look. I don't know, rustic's not the right word 'cause it's going to be a pretty big city, but I don't know, I just wanted to have that industrial look. It's going to be like a city past its prime, pretty much. I'll put some abandoned factories and who knows what else, but either way, it's going to be cool. Pretty happy with how this turned out also. Can't wait to see some trains going over it. That's going to look cool. This empty one will be an entrance to this park. What else is there to show? Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have traffic problems if this is the only entrance into the city, so I'm gonna have to make this more efficient and then also put another interchange like right over here to feed into this part of the city, just so there's more than one way to actually get in here. I'm also gonna put an exit off of this highway down here that'll come down here, so maybe some people will use that to come in this way. I don't know, but either way, I already know there's going to be some pretty bad traffic problems, but we'll deal with that as we get to it. Alright, well I think that's about it, guys. I think I'm just going to end it with a time lapse. See you guys next episode.